Hey Sagar, good morning. Thank you very much for joining. Sagar, do ping me on LinkedIn once, okay? I want to see your profile so I can get you some goodies.
Morning.
Hey Roshan, good morning. Hi Nikhil. Thank you, Sagar.
Folks are like very active on Saturday
Yeah, man. I
before
mean,
time.
Sagar was here before me.
Oh wow.
Yes. So I asked for his LinkedIn ID so that we can connect with him and send him some goodies.
Yes.
All right, let me just check with Alfia. I think she'll be joining. Let me just call her once. Thank you, Sagar.
And
Okay.
Sagar B will be receiving goodies personalized from Pride Force as well.
Awesome. Now that's a good morning, Sagar, right? A great morning. Cool. All righty. Hey, Nikhil, thank you for sharing that. So Nikhil will be like, why only Sagar? It could be me as well. All right. All right. I know this was released at the last moment. I mean, a few days back, we actually released it. Uh, so I think we have Kalpish as well. Hey, Kalpish. Good morning.
Good
Hey
morning.
Kalvesh, good morning.
Okay, okay. Hey, Zayan. Okay, Sagar, you're from Bangalore, right? Hi, Gurmeet. Hi, Harsh. All right. Have you booked your tickets for MC Square already? Hi, Harsh. Sagar, are you coming to MC Square? Oh, okay. I thought to bring the swag there and give it to you. So that's the reason I asked. Hi, Alfia. Good morning.
Hi everyone, good morning.
Hi, Alpia. Good morning.
Hey Kalpesh, hi Roshan.
Hey, Gurmeet. Okay. So last week we had fun. It was Core MC Square team who joined us for a quick session. How many were you of you were there last time? I think I saw Gurmeet there. I think, not sure. Nikhil and Sagar, you guys were there last week. Yes, Sagar was there. Azan, good morning. Cool. All right, we'll wait for a couple of more minutes. Oh no, Nikhil, it was virtual, like this one. That was last week. We'll wait for 2 more minutes. All right. Thank you, everyone. As I said earlier, this was sent on a very short notice. Um, so I was hoping that a lot of people would join, like we did with Lad. But unfortunately, we'll have to kick off, and I'm hoping that we have a good number in the next sessions, right? So today, Salesforce Marketing Cloud Pune Group. Okay, uh, we are we are very proud in associating ourselves with Bright Force in bringing you a series of data cloud learning, how you can get started with data cloud, how you can go from beginner to intermediate and pro. And we have multiple sessions lined up. This is the second one that we are doing in this series. The first one we did with Vlad, and now we have Kalpesh who has joined us for providing the sessions here. So today we are going to talk about data modeling, identity resolution, and calculated insights. Kalpesh will give you a deep dive. Will show you how it is created, and will take you through each and every section of it. All right. So he's gonna be talking about the core architecture, pillar of data clouds, pillars of data cloud. So that being said, if you know me, hi. If you don't know me, my name is Wasim. I am the marketing champion. I am a community group leader here for Pune Marketers Group. I lead this group with Alfia and Aman, and I'm a community speaker. I have more than 5 certifications, and I have more than 9 years to 10 years of experience, and 7 years in Salesforce. So that's about me. And Alfia, would you like to go?
Hi everyone, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for joining this connect. And if you are really exploring Data Cloud, the space is for you. Keep tracking. So as there will be more sessions upcoming. And regarding, I am one of the community group leader leading the Pune Marketeers group along with Wasim and Aman. So we coordinate together to arrange the virtual and in-person events in Pune. So keep tracking the space. I see that like Nikhil, there might be many few who don't know and who joined for the first time. So you can keep a track so that you do not miss any events, and would love to see you all in the upcoming events. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alfia. So we have the co-founder of Pride Force as well, and my very close friend Mir Roshan. Ali, I would like you to go, my friend.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Wasim Alfia and Aman, for um, setting up the platform for our initiative. And first of all, sorry for the candidates who have joined CMX Jabalpur chapter. Yeah, I know it was quite confusing. So few folks joined there, and then we need to really um, make sure that they're joining this new link. So I have already posted the new update on my LinkedIn handle. So I request everyone to please follow upcoming session links on my LinkedIn channel. So first session we have already completed around basics of data cloud and everything, and uh, on the Pride Force. So Kalpesh, can you just shift to my yeah. So this is the teams that we are super proud of having. Like we have Gilda, JB, and Fanny, who are advisory. Then we have me and Shivam, actually are the founding members, and then we have Wasim and Alfia as well in the community. Next, Kalpesh. Okay, so we have few giveaways in terms of the Salesforce certification vouchers. So here are the stated rules. So first, you need to attend all these sessions, and whatever you have learned, you need to post on the LinkedIn, tagging in the Pride Force LinkedIn page. You need to also subscribe to the Pride Force YouTube channel, wherein we have already uploaded a time management session, which was conducted by us and presented by Funny. So it's a must watch session, I would say, who is dealing with multiple things at the same time and how to manage and get thrive to it. And you need to also post all your learnings after each session, tagging in Trideforce and also using LGBTQI plus hashtag, so that we are making the taboo normalize and we are uplifting the community. And the selection will be raffle based, so stay tuned for till the end of the session. That will be 6th of June, I would say. And we will stay for 2 minutes on this one. Please go ahead and enroll yourself in the Salesforce training program. So after Data Cloud, we will be having Marketing Cloud Engagement training, followed by Agent Force and MCN. Uh, Please follow LinkedIn page and YouTube channel as well. So we will wait for 30-40 seconds, and then I will hand it over to Kalpesh. Over to you, Kalpesh. Thanks, everyone.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. So, let me quickly shift the slide. So, this is about me. I'm working at KSolves India Limited as a Salesforce developer, and I'm having the implementation expert in Agentforce Data Cloud and Marketing Cloud next. Apart from that, I work alongside with the business, and I would like to deliver the most critical things when it comes to the business. So I enjoy giving the solution to the customers, and this is about me. So we'll start with the session recap, whatever we have covered in previous one. So basically, we have covered the fundamentals of the data cloud, why companies are choosing the data cloud, what is the architecture, what is the data integration that we have seen in previous one while doing some hands-on on that. So let's understand the what we have seen in previous one. So what is the data cloud? So it is a real-time hyperscale data platform built natively on the Salesforce. Now, which ingests the data from the sources like CRM, an external site, mobile SDK, external warehouses, including your data Redshift, Snowflakes. So these are some of the data warehouses we have. Apart from that, we have certain data cloud internal workflows that helps to harmonize that data, whatever the data which has been fragmented records inside the system, and we have to understand the unified view of our customer. We have to understand what that customer is looking for, how that customer is engaging with our platform. So for that, we just have that particular thing, whatever the data cloud is providing, so that harmonize that data and provide the single customer view, single unified view of that customer. Apart from that, we can activate that data across every cloud. So let's say if you are doing any specific process of that data, you're harmonizing that data, and once that data get harmonized, you're passing that data to any third party system for activation. Let's say you have to act on that data under the Google ads, you have to provide specific ad to any specific person, or you have to provide specific product recommendation to any specific person based on his previous history. So all these things you can able to do it, you can able to act on that data in real time. Apart from that, when it comes to the data cloud, it has certain limits. Generally, if we say in our normal words, so it can able to process the much, or you can say there is no limit of processing the data, but you can consider over 1 trillion event per day it can have handle with under 1 second latency. So that is something huge, and that's why it matters. Most of the companies are looking for the data cloud, and the companies who are using the data cloud, or the Salesforce as their native tool for their CRM, which you can say like they are considering the CRM as a platform where all the data is residing on their CRM platform, and they just wanted to understand the custom, or you can say whatever the events are going to play on their other websites, other e-commerce sites, whatever the email marketing which are going to play on their platform. They just wanted to understand how their customers are going to interact with their data, interact with their events. So at that time, that is the most important thing when it comes to understanding the customer, understanding what specific thing they are looking for, what trends are currently following by their customers. So just for to understand each and everything properly, data cloud is the main thing. Okay. Now let's understand what we have seen as a architecture and data integration platforms. I mean patterns for these platforms. So platform layers includes the data sources. So basically, data source has been connected via data cloud connectors, or by default you have to specify what specific thing you have to deal with. So by default, Salesforce is providing more than 50 connectors, including Amazon Redshift, Salesforce, Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud. Apart from that, you have some SDKs by default connectors as well. And apart from that, you have GA for Google Analytics. You can say like Snowflake connector is there. So there are multiple connectors from which you can ingest the data from your third party source to your data cloud. So which is considered as a data source. And once the data gets sourced into your data cloud, then that data is a part of your ingestion layer. So you just have to decide what way you are to ingest that data. Either you are just ingesting the whole data once a time, or you have to make that data streaming. So whatever the real-time updates are going to happen on your website, whatever the real-time updates are going to happen on your web, like mobile app. So you have to understand the pattern, what how the customer is engaging with your data, how the customer is engaging with your real-time platform. So in order to understand, you have the streaming API. Apart from that, you have the CDC, like capture data change. So whatever the data has been changing on real time, you are just ingesting that. So these are the patterns from which that ingestion layer is defining how your data is getting ingested into your data cloud. And the last one is the zero copy. So we have seen that the Amazon Redshift, Snowflakes, and Databricks. These are the native tools or native connectors to your data cloud, Salesforce 360, and which provides by default connectors. And when it comes to the data ingestion inside the data 360, so at that time it will provide the by default connectors. And when it comes to the zero copy, so whatever the data you are ingesting, it just provide the meta file of that data, and whatever the data you are getting inside your system, which is in the format of this meta. So no real data is copying inside your data cloud. So when we ingest a specific data, that data resides into your data lake object, and then whatever the mapping we do with the data model object, so at that time that data is copied into the data cloud. Okay. But when it comes to the Snowflakes, Databricks, and Amazon Redshift. So at that time, no data is getting copied inside the data cloud. Apart from that, we have the data lake object. So as soon as your data stream is getting created, whatever the data is ingested out of that specific stream is getting stored inside your data lake object. Okay. Apart from that, once that data is get created inside your data lake object or store inside your lake object, it is considered as a container. Okay, so which is containing the raw data, which is only the data which you can see but you cannot act. So for that, we have the data model object. So inside the data model object, you have to map your data from data lake object to data model object. There are certain models which we have seen, like account contact, contact point email, contact point phone, contact point address, contact point, you can say there is only contact point. Apart from that, party identification, individual. So all these types of objects are available there. For sales, we have the sales order object, sales order line item object. So these are the objects from which we can able to understand the unified profile of that customer just by linking or making that connection within the Salesforce. We can able to run that rule sets or whatever the workflows that is defined by the data cloud. Okay. Apart from that, we have the identity resolution. So there is a deterministic and probabilistic matching of that data. So we have certain criteria on which Salesforce is defining how that specific unified individual is getting, take care of, and how we are understanding that specific individual is going to match. Okay, so we have certain matching attributes over there. Let's say we are dealing with any specific data where we are sure about how that data is getting ingested and how that specific attributes we have to set. So let's say fuzzy name and normalized email is there, fuzzy name and normalized phone or exact match of phone is there, fuzzy name and normalized address is there. Apart from that, we can set up even custom rule sets in order to match our existing data in order to unify that profile. Now, the next and most important thing is, once you have identified the unified profile, now that golden profile, you have to understand how they have engaged with you. So we have the calculated insights for that in order to understand the pattern of the, like the purchase history, how they are going to understand how that purchase is going to happen, how much max purchase he has done in last quarter or last 3 months or 6 months. So like that, you can able to understand the behavior of your customers just by utilizing the calculated insights. So there is one term called like measure and dimension. So measure is basically, it's giving you the sum, or average, or you can say like whatever we can say, uh, the mathematical data, and the dimension is something where we can able to utilize the group by thing. Okay, so let's say I just wanted to understand how much this person has put the money on specific app, and how much shopping he made in last 3 months. So all these things we can able to do. Apart from that, once we do all these things, we have the activation and output. So we can activate that data to more than 40 targets. And you can say like we can utilize the marketing cloud, ad networks, API, whatever the things we have over here, which you can see, we can able to utilize that data. Now let's understand the integration patterns for the data cloud platform. So we can ingest the data into the batch, we can ingest the data into the streaming API, zero copy. And apart from that, we have some of the App Exchange connectors. Apart from that, we have MuleSoft, Informatica, and DBT. So based on that, we can able to bring the data into the different patterns into your data cloud based on your business requirement. You just have to define what specific thing you have to do. So let's say you have 50,000 records from your legacy system, which you have to migrate to your Salesforce Data 360. So at that time, you will be utilizing batch. If in case there is a CSV file or any specific CRM connectors, or you are just pushing that data from Amazon S3, so at that time you have to utilize the batch. Apart from that, whenever it comes to any specific requirement, let's say you have some APIs, and based on that you have to ingest the real-time data into your system. So at that time you will be using the streaming API. Now what is zero copy? So when it comes to like only making that data available with the help of you can say with the help of whatever the existing meta that specific system has. So based on that, you are just processing that data should look like whatever the data existing inside your source platform. So at that time, zero copy will be utilized. And when it comes to any external you can say connectors are not readily available or not GA right now inside the Salesforce. So if anything comes, so at that time you have certain things with the API, or you can ingest the data via MuleSoft as a middleware, or you can utilize the Informatica, or there are other connectors which other companies has put on the App Exchange marketplace. So from there you can utilize that data as well. Okay. Now we have also seen the setup and permissions. So for the setup, there are certain things which you need to consider, and for there are certain permissions which we have seen. So data cloud admin, apart from data cloud admin, there is a data cloud architecture. So architect basically, so based on whatever the things business has provisionized, you can able to manage this via this permission set. So one more thing, like I just wanted to make sure that you should aware of, only Salesforce admin and Marketing Cloud admin able to access the data cloud. And specifically, you just have to provide the data space management access for that particular user in any of this permission set. Then he can able to interact with that data space or data, whatever the management he has to do on top of that platform. Apart from that, if you are going to create the multiple data spaces, you have to specify that. And let's say there is a condition where the multi-continent data or multi-brand data is ingested into your Salesforce, and now you have to respect whatever the data rules or data privacy settings has been implemented inside your Salesforce. Now you have to respect that, and based on that, you have to determine what specific thing you have to do. So at that time, you have to make sure that you are dealing with a specific data space, providing specific access to that data space, and then it will act like existing permissions, like uh, like record based settings or record based sharing, or you can say field level access will be granted to that specific user. So all these things you can able to do it just by separating that data, making specific rooms for that data, which we can say the data spaces, and based on that you can act on your data. So you will see whenever you start working on the data cloud, you will see this kind of clashes are coming from the client side, and you just have to understand you are not getting exact answer, why is it happening, what is the main thing you have to deal on. So at that time, you just have to specify the data spaces, or you have to create the different business unit inside your marketing cloud. So this is how you just have to handle all these things into it. Okay. Now we'll be starting with data stream object, data lake object, and data model object. Why this is the most important thing, and why data stream object, or you can say data streams, are going to get created when you are ingesting any specific data. What why there is a significance of the data lake object, why there is a significance of data model object. Okay, so data source is basically, you can say, when it comes to any specific source or any specific connectors, when you connect that specific data cloud, you will get this particular pattern. Like, you have to ingest that data into your data source object, which we can say the data stream. Now data stream is something where you ingest your data. Like, you can say it's a connector. Once you connect that data, you have to define what specific thing you have to ingest into your data cloud. Now that specific object is taking care of everything. What specific field you have to ingest, what specific type of category of data you are ingesting, you have to define it over there. What is the primary key, you have to define it over there. What specific time of schedule you have to define for the refresh, you have to specify. And apart from that, whatever the data you are ingesting out of your data source object or data stream is directly getting stored into the container. With that container is known as data lake object. Okay, so when it comes to the data stream, we have certain things over here. Like, whenever we are ingesting the data from the Salesforce, so at that time, if it part of a bundle. So we have stated the bundles in the previous session, but I'll just go through it one by one. So inside the Salesforce, we have certain bundles. So bundles are not nothing specific, but Salesforce is giving some tested modules to you. So you can directly put that bundle, install that bundle. Once that bundle get installed, you can utilize it as a part of data stream. So you can utilize either Sales Cloud bundle, Service Cloud bundle, whatever the cloud has been activated into your Salesforce core system or Salesforce core CRM. You can utilize that CRM bundle, and based on that bundle, whatever the objects are part of that specific cloud going to utilize over there, and based on that you can able to, like, ingest that data. Okay, so when it comes to the bundle, so we get something by default provisionized from the Salesforce. So let's say you are bringing the data from the Sales Cloud. So Sales Cloud includes objects such as lead, account, contact, opportunity, quote line item, order line item, and apart from that, sales order is there, sales order line item is there. So basically, this thing are a part of your Sales Cloud. So when you ingest the data, you don't have to worry about what specific category of that data is falling under. So we have three categories inside the data stream which we have to state. So first one is profile, second one is the engagement, and third one is the other. So when it comes to the profile, when the data is talking about any specific individual details, or it's representing any specific individual. So at that time, that data is a part of individual profile type of category. Apart from that, if you are talking about the point of sale, if you are talking about any engagement, let's say the email engagement, or you can say the website engagement or mobile app engagement. So at that time, that data is a part of that specific engagement. Even you can consider the point of sale, e-commerce activity. And apart from that, whatever the data is coming out of this specific box will be the part of other. Okay. Now we have certain refresh mode, full refresh and incremental refresh. So basically uh, I'll just show that in real time. So, but let me give you one specific example of that. Let's say for full refresh, let's say we have 10 records in the system, and now you have set the schedule after 12 hours. Now, what is going to happen? Whatever the record is going to create after that 10 record, let's say 2 record get created today, and after 12 hours, you have the refresh schedule, which is a full refresh. So at that time, whatever the data you have ingested in that specific system is getting deleted, and new batch will be ingested into your data cloud. So it will refresh the whole data just by deleting the existing data. It will add the new data into your data system. Apart from that, what is the incremental one? So you might be aware about the upsert term if you are coming from the Salesforce background. So upsert is a combination of update and insert. So inside the Salesforce, if ID is present, it will update. If ID is not present, it will insert the new record. Okay. So whenever you are just ingesting the data, let's say you have 10 records today, and after 12 hours, you have ingested two records, like you have created two records. So at that time, let's say that 10 records had done some modification. Let's say email ID has been changed, phone number has been changed, or any minor changes has been happened. So at that time, incremental is updating the existing data and adding or inserting the new data into your system. So that is what is going to happen inside the refresh mode. You just have to understand whenever it comes to the data cloud, there are certain consumption or the credit model is working in behind. So you have certain credits for this data stream. And whenever you are just ingesting that data, that credits are going to consume. Okay. So just for that, you just have to make sure your business should not suffer in future. So you have to act wisely. If you are doing any specific thing in terms of data stream, you just have to make sure you have to utilize the refresh mode wisely, and you just have to think on that where whenever you are just working on your data cloud. Okay. Now let's talk about the data lake object. As I told you, it's a container. Whenever you are just ingesting your data into your data stream object, that data sits under the data lake object inside the container. So which is holding your raw data ingested in whatever the original structure you are defined. Now data lake object is only the container having whatever the data you have just recently processed. You can check what specific data you are getting into your Salesforce via Data Explorer, as I have shown you. And apart from that, we have certain things over here, like you can query that data, you can check that data, you can map that data with your data model object. So whenever the data come into your data lake object, it's a raw data. You cannot do any specific thing. Even you cannot run your data cloud model or your data cloud like workflows in order to uh, you can say unify that specific profile, or you can say like you cannot specify what thing you have to do. For that you have to first map that data with your data model object, and then only you can able to act on your data. Okay. So when it comes to ingestion of your data, so once the data get ingested, it will create two types of the objects, which you can say the data lake object. First one, your actual data is getting showed, or your actual data is getting processed or it sits under. So let's say you are just ingesting the data from your Salesforce, let's say contact object. And in case if any specific thing happens to that data, let's say primary key clash, or any like if you are ingesting that data via ingestion API, any clash happening between that data, so at that time it will create the PR object. Okay. Now what is the PR? So it will show any specific like whatever the event happened for that specific data stream while ingesting that data to data lake object. So whatever the errors that has been captured throughout this process has been stored inside that PR object. So let's say here I'm just showing the object as contact DLM. So let's say contact DLM got some error. Let's say it will create the PR contact DLM object, or whatever the order history has created any specific clash with the primary key or any specific data, it will create that PR order history DLM. Okay. So it will create that data lake model, and based on that you can able to identify, and next time whenever you are ingesting that data, you just have to make sure that whatever the thing you are just doing over here, you have to make sure that data should not be again processed in that way, because it's going to consume the credits of your Salesforce. Or now let's talk about the data model object. So data model object is basically used for the harmonizing and standardizing your data. So it is understand by the harmonized and standardized layer of your foundation, where you can actually run your identity resolution and segmentation. So for that, you just have to do only one thing. You just have to match that data or transform that data. So if you have already worked on your transform element inside your Salesforce, so we have the flows, and inside the flow, we have the transform element where we are just matching the exact field, and that data is getting sit under that particular model. So that is what exactly going to happen inside the data model object. Based on that, you can run your identity resolution, because data model object is something is going to take care of your whole data 360, whatever the workflows you are going to run on top of that. So we have some by default data model object. So it's a replica of your Salesforce. So whatever the objects you are going to see under your Salesforce platform, same objects will be available, but here utilization will be different. Okay. So when it comes to the individual, it's totally defining the specific person or the person, like details, let's say first name, last name, email ID, phone number. Apart from that, we have other objects for this containers or specifying that data into different shells. So we have the contact point email, contact point phone, contact point address, which are part of, like which are related to this particular individual. But you can say like contact point email is specifically designed for storing the email address for that contact. Apart from that, same for the phone number. So let's say phone number is only for phone, like let's say the user has provided or the client has provided his personal phone number, work phone number, or you can say mobile number. So at that time, you can able to store that data inside this particular data model object. Apart from that, we have the contact point address. So under the contact point address, we can store the physical address. So inside the Salesforce, we have different fields for that. Let's say street one, street two, we are defining whenever we are making any specific order on the e-commerce site. Okay. Same thing, we are just taking care over here, like address one, address line two, street. Apart from that, state, country provision. Apart from that, we have the postal ID, or you can say the zip ID, where we can able to store that data. Same thing we have to present inside the contact point address. And apart from that, we have the engagement. So whatever the clicks, whatever the event, whatever the purchase, whatever the activities happened on that platform is going to store as a part of the engagement data model. And whatever the sales order, like whatever the transactional data, or whatever the transactional activity is going to happen, is going to store under the sales order. Okay. So far, any questions?
Yes, we have a couple of questions there.
Yeah.
I have posted them in the Q&A. There are three at the moment.
Yeah.
I will just ask those questions and then you can answer them, okay? So
Yeah.
the first one was from Kaleem. He asked, could you please provide some information about how the CDC can be implemented within the data cloud and how it could be done?
Okay. So right now, this is again going to be GA in next release, maybe in June. So that is going to happen. But apart from that, I'll give you another idea. So we earlier used to deal with this kind of scenarios by using the webhooks. Like if you are aware about the webhooks, so we just have to create the API key, and based on that, we have to hit the endpoint. Same thing, we just have to implement via this as well. So you just have to create the connector, you just have to specify that connector, and based on that connector, you just have to tell what specific data you are just taking inside this. So you have specific structure for that. So inside the Salesforce data cloud, you have specific structure defining what specific data is coming, and based on that, you have to trigger that endpoint, or that system is syncing into the Salesforce. So Salesforce is advising that whenever you are just doing any specific thing like that, anything specific to the engagement, any specific thing to any specific this platform, you have to utilize the Salesforce platform first. So you are just ingesting that data into your Salesforce data model, whether it could be after 15 minutes or whether change on your data inside your existing system or source system. And apart from that, you can ingest that data. Because when it comes to your data cloud system will utilizing your data cloud storage or your data cloud credits. So that credits will be consumed. So in order to take care of that credits, you have to first put that data into your Salesforce, which is your core layer, and then you can put that data into your data cloud. So this is what Salesforce is advising these days. Once that all connectors has been published from the Salesforce, you can directly utilize inside the connector, and you can utilize as a part of your data cloud. So that's how you can utilize the CDC directly into your Salesforce.
Got it. Thank you. That was for Kaleem. The second question we have is from Nikhil. That is, does zero copy data also be governed via data spaces, mostly for data level security?
Uh, I mean, it will respect that, but it will act in different manner. So uh, inside your data spaces, you just have to filter out that data. And when it comes to the Salesforce specifically, I just want to share few things regarding to that. So when it comes to the Salesforce, so whatever the data we are ingesting from the Salesforce into our different data spaces for different business units. Let's say we are doing the marketing on top of that. So at that time, it will work or it will act based on that whatever the access that specific user has in that system. But when it comes to the zero copy, you have to mention the specific criteria for what user you have to deal with this specific data or whatever the user you are defining for that specific data space. You have to specify what specific rules or what specific data, you can say permissions, that specific user you have to grant. Okay, so either you can achieve this via queues, either you can achieve it via adding that specific user inside that specific like set of permission, and based on that you can act. Because when it comes to the zero copy, it's an external platform, and there might be possibility that user don't have any specific access to that specific data inside that. So at that time you have to define. But when it comes to the Salesforce, you have that user inside your Salesforce, you have certain permissions assigned for that user inside your Salesforce core platform, and then you can able to act. But when it comes to the zero copy, there you have to set up certain things under your data space, and then it can able to access that data level security. So you have to specify each and everything over there, and then your user can able to access that in specific data security model.
Got it. Thank you. And one last question, and then you can continue. It is again from Nikhil. How many
Mhm.
times we can have a full refresh in 24 hours? Also, same question for incremental refresh.
Okay. So when it comes to the Salesforce standard bundles, you can see that the data, whatever the data, either inside the full refresh or the incremental, it's going to happen after 24 hours. Okay, because Salesforce has stated that, and even if you want to do that on specific interval, you can do it. Let's say after 15 minutes, if you want to refresh that data, you can able to do it. After you can say several interval of time, you can able to do that. Even though if you want any specific real-time data, you can go with the streaming API, or you can say the streaming data stream, where you can able to ingest the data on your real time. But when it comes to ingestion of the data with any specific standard bundle, so at that time that specific limit has been already set up over there by the Salesforce. When it comes to the customization, you have the different option for the customization, where you can customize your data in different ways, where you can actually control when actually that data is getting ingested into your Salesforce pack. Okay, so that is what is totally depend on your business use case. If it comes to the customization, you can customize your data to any level of extent. So you can extend that specific platform to any specific interval of time.
Got it. Thank you, Kalpesh. I think we can move ahead.
All right. So let's understand the difference between the data lake object and data model object first. So the purpose is raw data is getting ingested directly as it is received from the source. And inside the data model object, you are going to harmonize that data, standardize into data Salesforce data model, or you can say data 360 standard models. Apart from that, data lake object is by default created, and data model object where you have to map the things from your data lake object in order to create or put that data into your data model object. The structure of data lake object is kind of a mirror, like exactly whatever the schema is defining into your data stream, same object data is is ingested into your data lake object. Now data model object is something you can say like kind of a Salesforce standard model. So we whatever the schema has that specific data model is followed by this data model objects. Okay. Now, what are the transformations? So basically, whatever the source object is ingesting into your data lake object is going to unchanged. Whatever the data model object, we are just making mapping over there from your data lake object to data model object is going to store over there. Now, basically, data lake object is stored for raw processing, auditing, or data lineage. Apart from that, data model is used for many purposes like identity resolution, calculated insights, segment, data graphs, AI. So you can process that data to your agent force as well. Now, data lake and data model object both are queryable. So you can utilize that data inside your data explorer, and you can able to create the segment. You can able to analyze the data inside the Tableau. So all these things can be able to do, or all these things can be able to achieve inside this. Apart from that, data lake object is named by like prefix of underscore underscore DLM, and data model object is going to stored by prefix of SSOT. So basically, this is the difference between them, how you are going to identify. So this is what you are going to identify. And apart from that, the example you can see, like if you are creating the data lake object, so only DLM is getting append at that. And if you are going to create the data model object, so at that time, SSOT is going to append with that. Okay. Now let's talk about the identity resolution. So identity resolution is the process where you are going to create the golden profile. As we talk about, data cloud is only your source of truth. So at that time, whatever the things are going to happen on top of this platform is, uh, like whatever the data you are ingesting, whatever the things you are doing at this time is going to store as a single profile when it comes to the identity resolution, where you have to specify some of the rule set, some of the matching criterias, and based on that criterias, whatever the rules or whatever the things are going to run on top of this platform is going to define going through one by one of from this platform. You can say these are the algorithms which you are going to store or which you are going to define over here, and based on that, that identity is getting resolved into single unified profile. Okay. So let's say you have the data coming from your CRM, you have the data coming from your marketing cloud, commerce cloud, and website. Now you are ingesting that data into your data 360. Now that data 360 is getting stored into your data lake object based on whatever the schema you have defined. Now, based on that data, you are running that identity resolution where you have certain matching attributes. Let's say first name, last name, email ID, phone number, email, address. And apart from that, you have different things over there where you can customize, let's say, based on any specific ID, let's say Aadhaar number or PAN number, or let's say loyalty ID or any specific UUID. So you can able to run that rule set, and apart from that, you can unify that profile into the golden profile or single source of truth. So merging of the data is going to happen based on whatever the rule set or whatever the attributes you are defining into your identity resolution rule set or matching criteria. Based on that, it will run that IR, and it will create the specific consolidation rate where you can actually see how many records are known, how many records are unique, and how many records has been combined. You will get the percentage. In case if your identity resolution is not giving you the exact number, so at that time it's been stated that you have to strict or you have to tighten up your rule set in order to make that thing happen. Okay. Now let's talk about the matching rules. So matching rules are nothing but the matching criteria for these attributes. So when it comes to the attributes, so we have the attributes like this, like email ID, phone number, CRM ID, loyalty member, and apart from that, subject ID. Let's say basically the EU ID you can consider. So basically these are the deterministic matching rules, and apart from that, like probabilistic, basically it comes to the first name, last name, zip, name and date of birth, device fingerprint, fuzzy name, and there are different criteria which you can state as per your business or your data. You just have to understand your data first, and based on that, you have to create this deterministic and probabilistic criteria for that. Okay. Now let's understand what are the reconciliation rule and what is the purpose of that. So when it comes to the data cloud, your data is coming from various sources. And once that data is ingested into your data cloud, you have different sources coming in that pattern where you just have to define, let's say, the last 3 months data, or let's say I just want the data from my e-commerce site, my recent engagement with any specific mobile app. So this is what where you just have to tell your system what specific data you just wanted to see under your unified profile. Whatever the derived profile has been created out of your Salesforce or data cloud, you just have to state that I just wanted to see that data specifically under this. So that detail has been managed by this reconciliation rule. Reconciliation rule determine what specific value you have to store under the details. Okay. So you can store on terms of source priority, most recent value, most frequent value, or you can create the custom formula as well. Right now, this custom formula is again going to, like polish, or you can say repolish from the Salesforce. Once that is GA, again you can custom the formula based on the SQL. So source priority you can define. You can say like I just want any specific data or any specific event data captured on that specific platform as a source. Apart from that, like most recent value, like let's say you have ran any specific program 3 months before, like let's say in June or July, you have to run any specific pre-monsoon campaign based on your Christmas sale. So at that time, you just have to say that, like, I just want this specific data, and based on that data, you just have to run that rule set, and you will just get most recent data. Now, let's say most frequent value. So, um, let's say your record having three set of values, like combination of values. Like first, you can see like I have just provided the example over here. So country is saying the London, or you can say like based on that, you just have to identify any specific frequent value. So you can able to put that criteria over there under the reconciliation rule, and reconciliation rule can be defined per value or per field. So let's say for the first name, last name, email ID, based on that you can able to put that value, and then you can able to create that. Okay. So now this is the rule set which we are going to see, and I think we can able to start with demo now. I think, yeah, all right. Let me share my screen. I'll just log into my org. So Okay, fine. So I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. So we have seen how we can set up the data cloud. So we have the data cloud setup for that, and we have gone through everything specifically in our previous session. And I have provided the documentation like how you are going to set up this thing. So we have got our instance created, we have connected our org, everything we have provided through the permission set to this user. And now let's like jump into so from here, like I'm just sharing this tab. So from here you can able to set up your data cloud. This is your data cloud setup. So from here you can see your home org ID, your home org instance, your tenant endpoint, and everything has been created over here once you initialize your data cloud instance, and you have permission set over here. From here you can able to access the permissions, or you can modify the access from here. Here you can create the data spaces for your data cloud, and apart from that you have different types of tools over here, and you can connect your data cloud to marketing cloud engagement or marketing cloud personalization. Apart from that you can connect with your commerce cloud, and you have certain connectors over here, so you can ingest the data from this much connectors are available. Even you can ask for the GA or beta connectors. Right now these are the by default connectors. Beta connectors will comes with a tag like beta. You can create the source and you can create the target as well. So for the source you have this much connectors available. For target you have right now this three connectors. So target is basically for activation, where you have to activate your data or you have to store your data, whatever the data you have processed under your data cloud. And apart from that, you have the ingestion API, as I told you. For the real-time data, you have to define this, API for this. And now let's talk about the data stream. Okay. So as I told you earlier, so there are different types of data streams available. So first one is your Salesforce CRM. If you are connecting your Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, you will get that connectors as well. Even though you can upload the file, whatever the file you have, or whatever the CSV file having that structure where you are defining the columns and you have certain data sitting under that column, you can upload that. Even you can install the data kits and data packages. So you have this kind of connectors over here. Now if you uncheck that beta, you can see like GA models are available. If you check that beta, you can see the beta models are also available. So these much are the beta models which are going to GA in June. So basically you can able to utilize that this models as well. Now right now we are just dealing with the Salesforce CRM. So you can see we'll have the bundles over here. Now where these bundles are coming from, let it load. When it comes to the data cloud, this processing might take few minutes based on your org. So this processing is quite low, but yeah, in meantime, I'll take you over here from where these bundles are coming. So when you go to your Salesforce CRM, you can see your org has been created over here, connected over here. And below that, whatever the cloud has been initiated or initialized into your Salesforce, or you can see that bundles has been by default created. Okay. Now from this, you can see the version. So these are the managed bundles. So you just have to install these things and like from this thing you can able to create that bundle. So let me show you one over here. So I'll be just doing it for admin for now. I'll be just installing it. Okay, it will take some time, and let me go to my other tab in meantime. Okay, so right now we are just ingesting the data from the cells. So we have this bundle over here, and I'm just clicking on next.
Kalpit, I am able to see just Salesforce CRM. Are you on the Salesforce CRM tab?
I think,
Not able to see the other one if you're clicking on any other window.
okay, fine. Let me recheck that.
Probably you must have shared only one screen.
Mhm. Let me reshare that. Okay, I think you can able to see it now.
Yes, correct.
Okay, fine. Let me do this process again. So you can see the package. It will taking time. So you can see like it's processing. And apart from that, you can able to see so many things happen over here. So we have installed our sales package. Uh, so sales bundle. I got able to see it over here. Yeah, the sales cloud. Okay. So I think this is not the one. Yeah, this sales insight. Okay, let's check it one by one. Although I received an email regarding it. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one we have installed recently. Okay, and this is the CDP Customer Data Platform CRM Data Kit one. So which we have recently installed, and based on that, I'll just refresh it once. So whatever the recent change has been applied to us, we'll get that recent changes. So let me quickly ingest the data and then we can wait for 10 minutes. So it's totally depend on, because data cloud is a most important thing, having the whole data, whole workflow. So whatever the refresh time or whatever the waiting time you can able to see over here, like that spinner is still pinning. So that is because of the whole volume that system is containing, the whole workflows that system is containing. That's why it's taking time, and it's totally depend on what org you are utilizing. Again, we'll be sharing the document where you can able to check, and where you can able to make your things on your own, like where you can able to create your own like data cloud, and you can able to work on this. So now you can able to see this. I'm just hitting the next. So now you can see the 6 object has going to be ingested into this as a part of sales bundle. Okay, now on your left hand side you can see there are the objects. So you can see like account, contact, lead, and whatever the standard fields you can able to see over here are available. And in case right now I'm just like unchecking some of the fields over here. Let me do it on contact. So let's say I don't want description, I don't want birth date. Yeah, I think this is the required one. So when it comes to this checkbox, like this tick, so these fields are required for you. And apart from that, let's go with I think we can able to go with this other, because these are not anyway required or mandatory. Okay, so I'm just removing these fields. I'll be just going to the custom fields, whatever the custom fields I just wanted to ingest over here. I'll be selecting that. So for now, I'll be just selecting month of birth. Okay, and you can see, like, when it comes to your Salesforce 360 data bundles, so you don't have to select even the category of that data stream. You don't have to select the primary key. Primary key is already defined by this bundles, so it's part of your scope. And even though if you want to create any specific formula field, you can create it. Let's say you have to do any specific combination for any primary key, or you have to make the address in specific format of line just by combining more fields. So you can able to do that. For now, we are just not focusing on that. I'll be just hitting on next. Now here is the thing where you just have to define your data space. You have to define your data filter, like what specific data you have to deal with. Let's say I'm just utilizing my data space for Australia. So I'll be just adding the filter over here. Let's say from account, you just have to double click over here. And let's say country, sorry. Yeah, let's say billing or other country. Let me go for it. Shipping latitude, or you can utilize country. Yeah, even on the basis of mobile country code, you can utilize this. So equals, let's say we are dealing with India, so I'll be adding 91. If they are dealing with Australia, maybe 43 or 41 they are going to utilize, and they will be storing that data under that specific data space. Okay, so this is what going to happen. Now once you deploy it, it will start acting like this. And when it comes to the standard bundle, you don't have to worry about the refresh interval, because that is a part of Salesforce. Salesforce is handle it on their own basis, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, now till the time this get completed, we can take the break of 10 minutes, and then we'll resume in 10 minutes. So if you want to take short break, so you can just continue. We'll just continue after 10 minutes. So
Before going to break, Kalpesh, can we take 3 questions? And then
yeah, all right, we
can
can
move
do that.
forward. So yeah, we have question from Sagar. So question is, are there any specific consideration for data residency or compliance when utilizing zero copy data sources when data clouds data space?
Can you come again?
Okay, so are there any specific considerations for data recency or compliance when utilizing zero copy data sources with data spaces?
So, okay, all right. Uh, yeah, I mean, when it comes to your data cloud, whatever the data you are ingesting out of this will be part of your Salesforce system. Okay, so there you can utilize the governance, and based on that governance, you can able to actually put that thing. How I can explain that? So let's say you are bringing the data from Snowflake. Okay, Now Snowflakes is having certain data. Now that data is coming to your Salesforce system, and inside your Salesforce system, you have certain rule set that has been defined for that specific data space. You are filtering that data, and you are just providing the access of that specific data space to that specific user. Okay. Now, what is going to happen? Now, Salesforce security model will act like, which is actually, acting for the Salesforce data model on the core platform. Whatever the user is having the access of that is getting that specific data. Okay. So you can flag that actual data space, or flag that keywords, or flag that specific data lake object, and this is what you can able to do from the data governance. And like when it comes to the zero copy as well, you are not actually copying the data, but that meta is coming along with that specific data copy. Okay. So that meta is defining that field, meta is defining everything over there. Okay. This is the critical consideration, you can say. But like when it comes to uh, Snowflake, Databricks, and BigQuery, so while accessing it virtually, so instead of physically, we have the data residency over here, like uh, like regional data residency you can define over there for that specific data space. And apart from that, you can again utilize the GDPR, HIPAA, like IPP settings over there, like IPP considerations are also there. So you can utilize that, and you can enforce that security governance limit, like masking policies are also there. uh, Masking policy where you can define like specific field when your data is coming from any financial domain. So at that time you can put that on specific fields as well, or specific rows as well, from your data lake object. So you can tag that data, you can make that policies, and based on that you can do that sensation data masking, or sensational data masking over there. So that is what you can able to do. And this is what Salesforce is handling, because when it comes to the trust, that trust layer is maintaining on top of your data cloud. So I think that is what going to happen when it comes to the data cloud as well. For the zero copy as well, the same thing is going to happen. Again, one more thing, like auditing and monitoring also going to happen in the backend, like audit log, and like when you are just sharing that data and activating that data, for the activation, that compliance terms are going to require for lineage visibility. So that all things going to happen and take care by the data cloud.
Great. I hope, Sagar, your question is answered. So we have one more questions from Sagar.
Mhm.
So this is regarding the DLO to DMO mapping. What is the most common data quality issues encountered, and how they are best mitigated during transformation?
So during DLO to DMO mapping, we have seen some of the most common issues. Basically, those are related to the standardization of any specific ID, or you can say the phone numbers. So when you deal with different continents or different countries, you might have seen, or you might have encountered that the phone numbers are in different format, or even certain validations on the platforms are coming in that way. So you just have to understand how that specific things you have to utilize over there. Even the email addresses you have to understand at that time, or you can say the physical address, like residential address, or any specific thing related to that. Even when it comes to like missing primary identifiers, let's say the email ID, phone numbers, customer ID. So we have also seen that as well. Okay. Or even incorrect format. So when it comes to the ingestion, some data are coming from the different platforms, some data are coming from the other platforms, some data are coming from the Salesforce platform. Now we just have to convert that data. For that we have the formula fields over there. uh, Sometimes you might have seen that some people are utilizing only like lowercase for their first name initial. So we just have to convert that initials into the like capital format, or lowercase to the upper format, uppercase format. So all these things we have seen that. Apart from that, null or incomplete values. So let's say someone is typing the email ID. So we have to consider like this should be the Gmail ID or this should be the like any specific ID. Like you are just completing that. We have seen that data. That's why validation rules are required whenever we are ingesting or dealing this kind of format. Like multiple source system are utilizing different schemas, so we have to deal with the different schema types as well. When it comes to the relationships, like defining the linkage between uh, two you can say models, so we just have to identify what specific data is coming. We have to visualize that data specifically. And apart from that, when it comes to the unstructured data or semi-structured data, we have to again take care of whatever the data coming from this system. Like we have also seen that there are certain values, let's say for the loyalty program we were running. So at that time we have seen the different values are coming which are not identical anymore. So we have to transform that data from different PSOs like point of sale systems. And apart from that, we have transformed that data from that data lake object directly. So all these things we have to do while mapping of DLO to DMO. Sometimes you have to create the transformation of the data. Sometimes you have to drop the rows. Sometimes you have to create the different rows for this data, or just you can say like create the formula fields as well. So all these things you have to do over here, like for making that thing for the business. It's most important thing when they run the identity resolution, they should able to get the actual number of data. But when it comes to like these things, this is the most important thing that you should aware, like what are the consequences happening in real time. Okay, when you are running that identity resolution, when you are running that segmentation, you should able to interact with appropriate segments or appropriate users of group. So at that time it's necessary for you to understand first and to like utilize that data accordingly.
That was quite detailed. And then we have final question from Nikhil. How we can match ununified data sources would be PDF or web. I think so. Probably we are showing this in the demo, right, Kalpesh? In next 10 minutes.
From unified data, I think we can able to do it in next one, because yeah, I'll just give you some scenarios according to that. So when it comes to CSV file, we have by default structure defined, even though it's unstructured data. So for the PDF or for the CSV file, whenever we are ingesting, so we have certain models for that. So vectorization happen when it comes to the PDF models. So where we are ingesting the data from the PDF, vectorization is the first thing which is going to happen, and that is totally depend on your usage. Okay, so when you are ingesting the data from the PDF or the web, that is totally depend on your usage. Either you are utilizing that data for any specific like model, creating the retrieval for your agent force, so that is depend on your utilization per use case. So PDF and web basically are going to utilize the vectorization. Vectorization is followed by the chunking and indexing of your data, where hybrid search and you can say uh, retriever, custom retriever is getting created by default, and based on that you can utilize it. When it comes to the unified data of the customer having certain details, so that data is by default should be in particular format. Let's say should have certain rows, should have certain data under that rows. Then only you can able to push that data for the unification. Okay, so you have to define that particular model. So basically, when you are ingesting that data, that will be falling under data lake object as a part of container. Now, if that container don't have any specific columns, how you can utilize that data for the data model object, and how further that data can be considered for the identity resolution. So when it comes to the PDF or web, make sure that data should be in particular format, either at least inside the column format. So let's say first name, last name, email ID, as we are going to see over here while creating that specific thing. So that should be there. And apart from that, we have certain like extract data thing over there, like document intelligence and like intelligence. Apart from that, OCR to extract this particular thing. And apart from that, you can utilize the AI for like extracting and grabbing the data. Apart from that, you can again utilize that behavioral data for further usage, but make sure that this particular field should be extracted first before processing that specific data model or data 360 workflows.
Um, Hope that question is answered. And
Yeah,
okay, so I think so. We have only 30 minutes left, so probably let's take 5 minutes of break and then we can be back.
all right.
So yeah, I'm starting out the timer. So we will be back in 5 minutes. Guys, hopeful this session is making some sense. So do share the feedback. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. I am sharing LinkedIn handles so that you can reach out to us directly. Do not hesitate to reach out to us. We will make sure that we are answering all your doubts. How many of how many of you are like already working on Data Cloud? Folks can use the chat window. Great, Aslam. I think that's a great combo. So working on Data Cloud and Agent Force. So Data Cloud being as the heart and soul of Agent Force. This is a great initiative, I would say. You already started working. Gurmeet not worked on Data Cloud, but trying to learn. So I think so. This is the great platform. We are trying to make sure that Data Cloud's basics are being cleared, and we are trying to give some hands-on session as well as a part of this. Not specially on the Data Cloud, however, I'm learning now, currently working on Databricks. That's great. So we have few connectors as well for the Databricks. Even the data from Databricks can be injected into Data Cloud. So um, probably in the next coming few sessions, we will be covering that as well. So next set of session will be coming after a week of gap. Next session will be on 23rd and 30, since 16th of May is MC Square. So folks who are working in marketing cloud space, data cloud space, agents for space, I think so MC Square is happening on May 16th, and I think so you should not miss this event in order to get what's happening in the market right now when it comes to data cloud and marketing cloud along with agent force. So do we have mentorship program for the data cloud? So not designated mentorship program, I would say, Nikhil, but yeah, you can reach out to any of us folk, or you can reach out to Kalpesh as well. I will be sharing Kalpesh's LinkedIn ID. You can directly message him or any of us, and we will try our best to answer all your doubts. I am just sharing Skalpesh LinkedIn handle. Just give me a moment. Here we go. So I did share Kalpesh's LinkedIn handle in the chat. And do let us know in the chat what all you want us to cover in the Data Cloud upcoming sessions, so that we will make sure that that has been taken care of along with what we have planned to do. I think so. We are almost there, so our 5 minutes are getting covered up. So yeah, I think so. The time is up. I think so, Kalpesh, we can get started.
Yeah, all right. So let me quickly share my screen. All right. So you can see our data stream has been created and deployed from our source org as a CRM. Now you can see all the things are going to happen. So you can see over here, like fields are coming, everything is coming over here. Like under the details, you can able to see how many total records has been ingested. Right now, the frequency is a batch. So you can able to see the refresh mode is upset. Now, basically, if you want to do any specific refresh, you can able to just do it from here just by clicking this button. If you want to add any specific thing like any formula field or edit data stream or store deleted fields over here, so you can able to do it. And apart from that, you can able to see how many records has been ingested from here. Like as you can see, like it's working after 10 minutes. Okay, so Salesforce is managing to work this refresh history after every 10 minutes. So the one who has asked the question, even this thing is totally depend on how the things has been taken care over here. It will work either after 9 minutes or 10 minutes. Even you can customize this refresh rate, so that is again possible or achievable over here. Now on the right hand side, you can see there is a box or there is a template of data mapping. I'll be just clicking on review. So whenever it comes to the standard bundles, you can see the all this mapping and selection of the data model objects has been done by default. So you just have to do one thing. Right now, I'll just show you over here. Okay. So contact point phone. So it should be mapped with a formatted E164 phone number for identity resolution. So I'll be doing one thing. I'll be just calling either a phone number or phone mobile phone. So I'll be just going with the mobile phone. So we have formatted E164 phone number. Once you have mapped this, it will be resolved. And you can see this mapping is only just by clicking and selecting the right field. And you can able to do that. On this, you can able to edit the properties as well, but I just have to save it. Even though loading will take some time because it comes to the data model. So it will take some time. We have different types of data models. I'll quickly showing that to you. Okay. Now let's say if you have to select any specific data model over here. So how you can do it? You just have to click on this pencil icon. Once you are here, you can see it will take some time because you will see there are so many data models available. So this process is a bit slow because data models are so many in numbers, so it will always take some time. So even though you are working on your data cloud, make sure that you have certain time in order to consider these things, because things will take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depends on time. Even creation of data stream will take 15 to 20 minutes. Ingestion again take 15 to 20 minutes. Identity resolution again take 15 to 20 minutes. So you can see there are certain standard models and custom data models as well, where you can create on your own. For the standard data model, let's say you can able to add from here. So you can see on each scroll, this spinner starts spinning, and that's why it's quite hectic when you start working on your data cloud. So you can select your data model. So I don't go in deeper. Apart from that, I'll do one thing. I'll just ingest one data, I mean Salesforce object. So let me go to the data cloud quickly. Let's go to the data stream, and I'll be just clicking on Salesforce CRM. I'll be hitting on next. Now you just, right now we have ingested the data from the data bundle. Now let's ingest the data from the object. Again, this process is again consuming some extra time because there are so many things available, and we just have to take care of everything. That's the main thing. So yeah, all right. So now again, this will take some, yeah. Now I'll just check for the case. Okay. Now here I'll be just clicking on next. Here you can able to see we have the categories for the data. Okay, so you can see like data lake object is defined by the name of the org. Okay, like case home because it's coming from the home org. Apart from that data category, we have three types of category. So case is the engagement, when we just have to understand when that customer has engaged with us. This is the event time field. You can select any of this. Right now by default selection is this. Apart from that, primary key. So primary key should be unique. Whenever you are creating any data stream, that should be unique. If there is a mismatch or any specific duplication of data, like primary key while creating the data stream, it will directly create that PR data lake object. Okay, so let's hit on next. Again, you just have to check in case if you want to do anything. Right now the mood is upset. Full refresh, if you want to do the full refresh interval, you can able to select that from here. After 10 days, if you want to vanish or you have to clear all data from your data stream and you have to ingest the data newly, you can do it. After what interval you have to define. Now let me just deploy it quickly. As we are just ingesting only one data stream, so this process will quite simple for us. Okay, now this is going to create the things, ingesting the data. So you can see under the details right now, no record has been ingested, but data mapping has been already ready for us. Okay. Now here we just have to select the entities, but that is again because it's not coming because that process has not been totally completed over here. So I'll again show this to you. So fields are ready to map. So we just have to select the data model from here. Okay. In the meantime, I'll show you how to check the data, whatever you are ingested. So let's say check for the case. Right now, no data because we have recently created. Let's talk about the contact. So you can see this much records has been ingested. You can copy the SQL. Okay, this is the SOQL, basically Salesforce Object Query Language. Okay, and am I audible? I think my just screen has lagged.
Yes, you're audible, Pulvesh.
Okay, I think yeah. Okay, so even you can edit the columns. It's just point and click tool. So it's quite handy for the person who are already aware about the Salesforce or who are new to the Salesforce as well. You just have to select and based on that it will provide you the details as well. So I'm selecting it and you can able to see the data as well. You can filter out the data, you can refresh the data, whatever the thing you have to do, you can able to do it. Now, when it comes to the data model, so we have this tab for this. Now these are the mapped. Okay, so whatever the data we have recently seen from that particular objects, let's say for the individual, whatever the data we have seen over there, it's going to manage over here. Now, someone recently asked about how we are going to manage the residents and all those things for the governance and compliance. So we have the tags over here, like you can even tag this data for the data cloud governance. Based on that, again, you can able to create the data masking and other things as well. Okay, that thing we are going to cover separately. But let me go to the data model for now. Now, let's say you just have to understand the schema, how this object are relating together. So you can go to this diagram and you can check this particular models. Okay. Now you can even select the data space as well, and even you can select the list as well. Okay. Now let's move to our previous topic where we are just mapping the data. So I'll be just mapping it with the case and I'll be just relating that object with the individual. So you can see all these fields are properly handled by this. And now let's create the relationship in between. So you just have to first save it. Even in case you have to map any different fields, you can able to map directly from here. Let's see, let's say account is not mapped over here. So let's say account ID should be mapped like this. We have the contact ID over here. So I'll be mapping it with the individual. In case you have any external ID, you can able to manage it from here. I'll be saving it again because without saving, you cannot able to do any further process on here. So let's create the relationship. So from the case, we have the individual. Capability is number of cases to 1 and object should be individual relationship with the individual ID. So now let me show you how that data is relating with the individual inside that one. So okay, already exist. That's fine then. If already existing, then we don't have to take care of this. Let me check it over here. Where is the case? Yeah, so you can see the case is already connected through this via account and individual. So this is the standard object. In case you are creating for the custom object, you have to follow the same process. Okay. Now this is done. Okay. Now let's see whatever the data is coming under the data model object as well. So let's check how the case, okay, case record are not here, how the account looks like under the data model object. Because on top of that, we are running our identity resolution. So I think all data is coming. Now let's go to the identity resolution. So we are creating our identity resolution for the first time. You have to go to the create new rule set, hit on the next. You have to select the primary model as individual. You can select the different one as well. For now, we are just dealing with the individual. Now it will show you how many objects are involved inside this one. So you have to define the rule set name, like unify individuals is my name. You have to provide the description, you can provide it. Now these are the objects which are involved inside this and derived as a part of this process once this identity resolution has been completed. Okay, so these are the things which are going to populate over here. Right now, if I show you under the data model object, so there are no linkages between these models and these are not populated yet. So these are going to derived as a part of this identity resolution process. Okay, so I'll be just hitting on save. For now, I'll be just going with the simple matching rules or the standard matching rules. Whenever we are going to deal with the real-time scenarios at that time, we'll be just walking you through the real-time scenario. So again, this will take some time because that models are going to configure over there. Okay, now here you can see like matching rules. You just have to click on configure. So here there are some basic consideration. This is the guide for you. You can just go through it. For timing, I'm just running. So here you can select the rule set, whatever the rule set you have to select over here, you can select. For now, I'll be just selecting fuzzy name and normalized email. If you click on next, you will be landing on the same page, which we got on the first slide as, like first model pop-up, which is appeared over there. So here you can select what exactly matching method you have to select, what field you have to select. Even you can add your criteria as well. Okay, so let's say you have to do it on phone as well. So let's say this formatted E164 phone number and exact normalized. Even you can configure it into the detail or advanced mode as well. I'll be just selecting the next and I'll be saving it. In case you have to add any other criteria as a part of and, you can also do that. I'll be quickly refreshing it. Okay, so let's say you have to add any other criteria based on address, you can do it. Okay, and now you can just save it. So this is the or condition you can specify, and based on this you can able to do that. Now we got one warning like individual ID, so we just have to define that source priority, like even though you will get it while working on it. So this is the one resolution, quick resolution, you can do it. And apart from that, as I told you, like first name, if you want to define from the reconciliation rule, you can do it, like source priority or most frequent, as I told you, or let's say last updated. You just have to put that value inside your unified individual, whatever the data is getting, data model is getting derived out of this. So you can just save it like this, and you can able to get that. Now, whatever the next thing is, the rule set has published. Now it's in progress. Now you just have to see whatever the processing history you can able to see it from here. Okay. So this thing is resolved. Let me just quickly refresh it. Okay. Now once that rule set has been run, you will see the total unification of the profile along with the consolidation rate percentage, total known profile and anonymous unified profile identified the system. So these things you can able to see it over here. Apart from that, what the other thing, I'll just refresh it. Okay. So you can see like unified individual contact point, unified individual, these things are getting created, and you can able to see the data under this as well. So if I show you under the data model object, so whatever the unified thing has been created that are a part of derived, so that has been derived from, you can say, uh, your identity resolution, and whatever the linkages has been made through this has been part of, like your breach connecting these two objects together. You can go and you can check that. For now, if I just show you unified individual, so right now there is no data. Once that process has been completed, you will see the source profile percentage and everything over here, and then you can able to get that number over here. Okay, so just try it today. You will get the end-to-end things. We'll just providing one guide over here, like how to set up all these things, how you are going to work on this, and we'll get to everything over there.
Okay, Kalpesh, I think so. When there is a question on party
Mm-hmm.
and the usage of the party ID, right? Party field in the data mapping. So,
Mm-hmm.
can you explain that what this party field is used in data mapping and what is exact used and what is the impact if not using? And this question is from Sachin Gautam.
Okay, so let me first go to that contact home. So here you can see, yeah, here is a party. Now we are connecting that party with primary key. Okay, and apart from that, we have other models as well. Right now, Salesforce is not enforcing that, but let me show you that as well. Uh, taking time. Okay, so let me quickly search for party. It might lag over here. Okay, so this is the party, and party identification. Yeah, this one. I'll be just hitting on done. Okay, so there are three things which are defining the party. So basically, there is a chances inside the data cloud. There might be the possibility that single person will appear for multiple time. Okay, so for that we have to define that party. Okay, so here if you see like this is the primary key, and we are defining that party field as mapping with that party field as a primary key with the like contact ID. So when it comes to the lead, it will go with the lead ID. Okay. When it comes with the account, it will go with the account ID. Whenever we are talking about any loyalty program, it will go with the loyalty ID, loyalty member ID or loyalty ID. When the data is coming from any external source, so external source ID will be there. So it is defining that person is unique, person is unified. Okay. When it comes to the website where we are tracking the particular customer or particular user, so at that time, we can say like cookie ID. Whenever it comes with a mobile app, we can consider it as a device ID. So this is what we are defining at a party while defining the identity resolution. Okay, that is the most important thing. Earlier, if you have seen like in 24, 25, these two objects are important for running party and party identification should be mapped in order to run the identity resolution. Now, what data is sitting over here? You can see party is a basically individual data. Okay, like for what purpose this particular party is coming from, and party identification is basically the specific external ID, identification name, identification number issued at location. This is what I told you earlier. Like we have to identify that specific user because the occurrences will be multiple times. So in order to understand that, this object was already there. Okay. Now in recent releases, what Salesforce did, it has already pushed that ID directly in this particular data modules. So contact point email. So basically for which particular person that specific email is unified or unique, we have to define it over here. Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Let's move ahead.
All right. Any other question?
No, not at the moment. Let's continue.
All right. So let's check whether we got the identity resolved or not. Okay. So you can see we got the identity resolution. Now there are no matching profiles, so it will ask us to, like tighten up the criteria and to get the resolved profile. So for this, what you can do, you can ingest the data with the same email ID and again check whether you are getting the unified profile or not. Now at the same time, I'll just go with the data explorer. I'll just refresh it and you can see the data is sitting over here. Now if you just click on view, it will be opening that unified individual DLF and you can able to see that data. Now you can modify this page as well. So if you want, you can able to modify this page, whatever the data 360 model component you have to add over here or under the Salesforce CRM, you can able to add. So all these things you can able to do on top of that. So this is what you can able to achieve by using the identity resolution. Now based on that identity resolution, you will get the unified profile. Now next time whenever we are just connecting, I'll be showing you how we are going to get that unified profile out of the data. And yeah, I think this is for now only.
Great, Kalpesh. Thank you so much. So, any questions
Yeah.
on DLO mapping, DMO, or any other thing? Feel free to ask. We have 3 more minutes to go. And meanwhile, I have shared the drive link for D1 and Day2 PPT along with the configuration step for Data Cloud. So, can someone please confirm if link is accessible on the chat?
Yeah, it's accessible. I was able to.
Amazing. And you have any related questions to any sort of data 360, feel free to reach out to us, Kalpesh, Wasim, me, Alfia, Shivam. We are more than happy to answer, and amazing to have you all. Over to you, Wasim, to add something more.
Thank you, Roshan. Thank you. I mean, this was very interactive. I love the format. and I love the energy in the chat. Thank you for all the questions that you guys brought in. I mean, these questions is what make these sessions, memorable, and for the speaker as well. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward, to host such sessions with Kalpesh Roshan, so that you guys can get a better picture of Data Cloud, right, and its architecture. So please stay tuned. We are going to send you more emails about the registrations and everything, and do follow us for the post and everything on LinkedIn. So we will be posting everything. And yes, these recordings will be available on the YouTube channel for Bright Force and for Pune marketers as well. I will share the links as well in the group. That being said, Kalpesh, thank you very much for your time and for your knowledge. This is what you're doing for the community is commendable. Thank you very much once again. Right, guys. What I want you to do is I have made you all a presenter. What you can do is you can uh, start your camera so that we can come for a quick picture for our social handle.
Yeah, and before people like switch on camera and show their amazing Saturday mood, I just want everyone to, request, since this initiative is something that we are trying to make breathing in India. So I want people to really go ahead and promote on LinkedIn, share your feedback as much as possible, so that we are making a community a better place together. So that's all from my end. Thank you. And
Absolutely,
I think so we have some amazing people here. uh, we can go ahead and take picture.
absolutely. Smile, guys. Come on, 1 second.
Kalpesh is in the library. Kalpesh, you read so much here. I love it.
If you say that, Rizwan is in the dark.
So Rizvaz is in the weekend mood already, so I
Eh,
totally understood Rizva.
no, actually, he took an off on Saturday because he wanted to, travel. So cheers,
Well,
Rizwan. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for switching on the camera for us, seeing the beautiful faces. It just made Kalpesh's day and our day as well. So thank you very much. Okay. So until next time, we'll send you the link, and thank you very much once again. Bye bye.
thanks
Thank
everyone. Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kalpesh. Bye bye.
Bye. Thanks for the good sessions. Thanks a lot.